today is solar panel and battery day. I'm going to try to set up my whole new electrical system before the winter hits. So what I'm doing is a 200 watt solar panel. It's the ShadowFlux series that operates more efficiently in those like partial shade situations. So I have that paired with the mini core 300 amp hour lithium battery. And I'm going to do this MPPT to DCDC charger. All right, so first things first, cut these struts down to size. I got 10-foot aluminum ones. They should cut pretty easily. Yeah, 6 feet 6 inches. It looks good. All right, so next up, I'm going to mount the mounting hardware on each corner, because I think it's going to be easier to mount those here before attaching the brackets to the unistrut, because it'll be just a straight up and down for the unistrut, but here it's like all underneath here. So yeah, I'm going to do that real quick and then I'll reload it up top. All right, now for the scary part. Getting this up. All right. Everything else all right, pretty much got it situated. I did end up flipping these upside down just so the panel rested a little bit further beneath the wasn't up as high. Just tighten all these down. So yeah, I got the nylon whatever things for the struts inserts, spacer, grade 8 bolts, lock washer and washer. Put the double nuts on there to lock it in. All right, now to line up this cable guide to go into the camper. So able to unbolt the panel and slide it down the unistrut. So I think here is pretty much a good spot. This. All right, y'all, please don't roast me for this, but my ShadowFlux blew out the side of the container. So I'm just going to run it through here like this and see if it works. Okay. Okay, this is stupid. So just go positive in this one here. All right, let me go find it inside. All right, so here's the system that's coming out. So those are two 88 amp hour lead acid batteries being replaced by this Renogy 300 amp hour lithium battery. So I'm very excited about this upgrade. All right, so I cleared out all the previous wiring to rerun new fresh wire, all heat shrinked and everything like that. And so here I have all my components mapped out. So this is the Renogy DC-to-DC MPPT charger. And I have it set right here because it's supposed to be 5.9 inches away from everything. So that's about it. And then it's a little close to here, like an inch overlap in here, but it'll be airflow over it. And I'll get a couple of vents in here too as well. So I'm just gonna start building it on. I have 2 bus bars. So pretty much bus bars are gonna be like attached right here. These 2 fuses here. And then the main fuse block all hooked up to this 300 amp hour lithium battery. so I'm just gonna start attaching things here and there, and I'll explain it as I go. So first things first, I'm going to connect, this is the cable lead from the starter battery over here underneath this other bench. And it runs underneath the camper, comes up through here. So I'm connecting this 1/0 cable to this fuse, 100 amp fuse, going to this red cable. I might have said the brown cable, but it's going to the red cable into the DC charger. Brown cable comes out through the next 60 amp fuse to the auxiliary battery. So kind of got a mark right here to cut it up, strip it. And I don't want to lose too much of this feed in case I need to reposition it at some point or whatever. But here I feel is good. And I want these to kind of sit with each other, so they'll both get trimmed up accordingly. Tight. All right, cool. That's like a really solid connection. Feels good to get the first one done. We can move right along. All right, so now to hook up, I have 8 gauge wire here to hook up from the 60 amp fuse coming from the DC to DC charger to the auxiliary battery. And I'm thinking that's like a pretty good length. So let me trim this. Where are we at? Okay. And get some lugs on it. Oh no, heat shrink not on. Oh, come on. Will it fit? Come on. Damn it. I knew I was going to do that. Fuck. So I don't even know if you can see, but over here is where I'm attaching it to the battery. And I also have a 250 amp block fuse on the edge of the battery here to connect to the positive bus bar. Okay, so here I'm running the positive cable from the solar panel. And I have these ferrules. So this is like the double pull disconnect switch, which I think is what you're supposed to have to disconnect both negative and positive simultaneously if you needed to. So yeah, I got these ferrules, so I'm gonna cut the wire, heat shrink the ferrules on there, and then tighten this down so this is what crimps the ferrule onto the end. Scared. Telephone call, of course. Hi, Bubby.
Hello.
All right. It's pretty good. All right, so I did a lot of this work after work where it got dark and I didn't really film it that well. But so I'm about to test it out for the first time. I just got everything wired in. All right, so I just hooked up the negative. So it sparked up the battery monitor. The type is lithium battery is 12 volt, so that's blue. The battery indicator is solid yellow, so normal battery voltage. Before I flip the solar, I'm gonna try to set this app up. Add device, accept, allow, found device, confirm. All right, cool. So not charging. All right, so I'm gonna go over and switch over the solar on. All right, the sun's coming in kind of nice on the solar too. That's kind of sweet. Here we go. Oh. Solar is charging. See what the app says? Hell yeah. Yeah, so before I start it, I'm gonna change the alternator. Oh, hold up. Settings. Maximum charge amps. Let's just start with 30. And this is all just gonna be just going as I go, seeing what's best, dialing it all in. So yeah, like I was saying, this is an imported Isuzu Elf 1994. So the alternator isn't smart. It's not like, and you can't upgrade it. So that's why I'm kind of just one of the slower amps coming from the alternator, more on the charging. And I think that charge controller focuses on solar anyways, prioritizes it. Oh, she starts up nice. Nice. This is awesome. So it's all working great. So like I said, the blue is for lithium battery, 300 amp hour lithium battery. The battery indicator is saying normal voltage, and the red is solar alternator charging working. So let me clean all this and tie all these wires up, make it neat, and then I'll go into like a more detailed exactly how I did it and what's what. All right, now everything is pretty much tied in and set. So let me just start from, I'll start from the solar, I guess. So on top was the solar panel. I have a 15 amp inline fuse up there. And then the positive negative run down here through to underneath the cabinet. And then I marked it off. So my brother was just making fun of me. So yeah, I only have black cables, and then I only have red heat shrink, but this is the positive. I'll label this better too. 2-pole, positive, negative. Underneath this box where the diesel heater tank is for the diesel heater. Up. Positive comes over here, and I did a quick connect into the yellow wire for the solar, the MPPT. It goes into the charger. So then what comes out is this red wire. This red wire connects to a 100 amp fuse and goes into this 2-aught cable that then runs underneath the camper over to the starter battery. So that's the inline coming in from the starter battery, the alternator, through this fuse into the red line, into the DC to DC charger, which I set to 30 amps, and I'm just going to see how that goes. And then the out is this brown wire down here, and the brown runs into the 60 amp fuse. And then I had this is 8 gauge wire. It's just a short run. I think they recommended 6, but I think this should be fine. 60 amp fuse to this 6 gauge wire. Oh no, my bad, sorry, 8 gauge wire over to the positive battery terminal. And that's kind of the loop right there, and then the negative comes out, and then I do the negative around here with this heat shrink connector so every lead out of here is 10 gauge. So the 10 gauge up to the down to the 8 gauge over here to the negative bus bar. So this is for the negative, common negative for all the charge controller stuff. This negative is for the fuse block. This is the battery shunt for the Renogy battery monitor, tied into this wire that goes into the negative of the battery. And this is the negative for the inverter. This negative here in between is for the solar panels, and then this negative runs down to the chassis. So that's that. I got the positive wire connecting from the shunt to the battery terminal, and I have a 250 amp fuse that connects the battery to the positive bus bar, and then this is a 250 amp fuse to my 2000 watt inverter. Oh no, hold on, my bad. This is the red wire. Jeez. The red wire all the way wraps around here to this 100 amp fuse to a disconnect switch. From the disconnect switch goes to the positive of the fuse block. Okay, so here I followed up on this video I started making in the fall. So yeah, I got the solar panel in. I got most of the wiring done. I just need to finish cabinets. and do under the cabinet lights, and then be pretty good. So yeah, I got a dimmer switch right here for all the lights, and I'm gonna see some wires hanging there, some wires in the back and here. So I'm gonna build some overhead cabinets with lights and dimmer switches underneath these two cabinets, and then back here in the kitchen I'll have the overhead cabinets in a little maybe spice pantry thing. But this is gonna have the switch for the exhaust fan above the stove and a light above the stove top. So let me hop in here. I'll show you underneath this bench how everything looks now, all wired up. And I also have done some work in the bunk. I got a little reading lamp with USB, and I did this headliner. So this is also on could adjust it. But yeah, I did sound deadening insulation, and then I did some bulk fleece I bought over at Renogy's here in Maine, and did a headliner. That is very exciting to me because I was really sick of looking at the yellow fiberglass, raw fiberglass, and it, you know, had no insulation or anything like that. So this came out pretty good. It's not perfect, but it came out better than expected. So yeah, psyched about that. So yeah, let me show you underneath this cabinet real quick. But yeah, I think it's been a while since I reviewed that footage, but I think I didn't have any of the systems wired up. So I'm just gonna go over a quick review. So yeah, here's the MPPT to DC charger. Ignore this wire. This is gonna wire up the final lights I have. So that's all run around the camper. So as soon as I get the cabinets in and the lights wired in, I'll hook it up to the final spot here. And so yeah, I mean, this is just all my systems. Diesel heater, water pump, water heater. Oh God. So this all got really delayed. Sorry, now I'm all over the place. But I was so invested in finishing the electric, and then when the winter actually started becoming winter, I was really just focusing on this, and I was like, oh, I gotta winterize this thing. I gotta winterize it. And I kept thinking, oh, it's gonna be okay. It'll be okay. Until it wasn't, and I froze. I broke my water pump. The filter cracked off, so it leaked all this water. And then I replaced all that. I tore out the bathroom to make sure the PEX pipe all the way back there wasn't burst. It wasn't. But I started to put the bathroom back together, and then I filled it all up to test it. And it turned out the hot water heater was also cracked, so I had to get a new flow valve for that. But as I was testing it, I re-drenched everything. And this is in the winter, so I was out here at night. And I just did all this good stuff. I was so excited, so amped. And then, I don't know, I got real bummed out at myself. But anyways, it all turned out stronger. I'm just a few months behind. So yeah, it's pretty clean. I'm very happy the way it all turned out. So now I really am just motivated to finish these cabinets. So that's my next video. I'm gonna wrap this video up. I might show some footage of us snowshoeing. May go snowshoeing tomorrow. But following that, I'm gonna do the cabinet video. And I'm in between jobs right now, so I have a few weeks off. So I'm going to try to do some cabinets and then drive this thing down to Pittsburgh from Maine. And I'll take you all along on that trip.